What's going on, everyone? If you've seen my channel before, you know that I don't normally do reviews, but I do like to share things that I learn along the way, just in case it can help you in your creative journey. So that brings me to today's video. Now, full transparency, this video is not sponsored, but the good people over at Zhiyun did send me their Fiveray M20C RGB pocket light to test out. Now, it's marketed as one of the most powerful pocket lights on the market, among other things, but I wanted to test this out myself, so let's get into it. Okay, so we got the 20 watt RGB light with the CCT range of 2500 to 10,000 Kelvin. It's got a peak illuminance of 1950 lux, and it's got a built-in battery life for up to 40 minutes on full power, or up to 3 hours of runtime on 5 watts. It comes with all these incredible magnetic accessories like the barn doors, the honeycomb grid, the diffuser, and the mini rig. Plus it features 10 creative lighting effects, 6 RGB effects, and a music mode. But for the purpose of today's video, we're going to focus on 3 different lighting scenarios in my home studio. Okay, so up until now, my home studio has only ever had a 1 light setup. Maybe 2 if you count the small LED strip above my desk, but mainly it's just the 1 key light. Now, I've always wanted to try using more than 1 light in my setup, but A, I wasn't sure if I needed it, and B, I really didn't know where to start. So when Zhiyun reached out to try their new Fiveray M20C RGB pocket light, I figured this might be the best chance for me to figure out what works best in my space. Okay, so this is what my normal setup looks like with the Adorama 100D as my key light, but let's see if this little 20 watt pocket light can replace my 100D. I'm just gonna go turn off this key light and replace it with the M20C, and we'll see what happens. Wow, that's actually kind of crazy. I'm shocked, and I guess impressed. That is a 20 watt light that's providing all of that light right now. Let's bring it down to 50%. Just to see the difference. Okay, that's 50% right there. I don't know, maybe this light's still too bright. So let me throw on the diffusion filter and let's just see what happens. Okay, so that's with the diffusion filter. I'm still at 50%, but let me bump this back up to 100% brightness and see where we land. Okay, cool, so that's at 100%. So I feel like no matter where I fall within this range, I could probably swap this out and actually make my M20C the new key light. But I probably won't do that just because I'm at home and I already have the 100D. But what I think I could do is easily take this on the road, and anytime I'm traveling, this would be an amazing key light just because of how portable it is, how small it is, and clearly how powerful it is. Okay, so in this scenario, I'm going to go back to using my 100D as my key light, and I'm going to add the M20C as my fill/background light. Now, by adding the M20C, it should create some level of separation between myself and the background, and ideally create more of a moody vibe than what you already see here. I'm also going to throw on the diffusion filter to soften the light, and I think I'll add the barn doors just to shape the light away from me. Now, the good thing is I don't have to get up again to change the color or the brightness of the M20C. I'm actually able to control everything from the ZY Vega Intelligent app on my phone. So I can turn on our first light, which is the color orange, and I've got it listed at 50% brightness. Now, if I up that to 100%, you're able to see the difference. Because it's HSI, we've got a million different colors that we can pick from. So I'm gonna just go ahead and switch to red. Now that red is at 100%. If I lower that down to 50, we're gonna see how much that changes. So you can see there's some separation between myself and the background, and it definitely creates some form of vibe or mood that definitely wasn't there before. Now if we go to the extreme and pick a color that's not in the same hue, we go to blue. Now that's blue at 50%, still on the HSI setting. And if we up that all the way to 100%, there we go. Totally different background and scenario compared to the last 2. So I think it's safe to say that the M20C could easily be used as a fill or a background light, especially in like a home studio setting like mine. Okay, so in this setup, we're gonna try and create a rim light with the M20C. I've actually never done this before, but a rim light can help separate your subject from the background in a more interesting and dramatic way than just a regular fill or a background light. So let's see if I can make this happen. Okay, so in this scenario, I'm actually going to use the honeycomb filter because it's not only going to soften the light, but I have way more control over its direction. Because I want this light to highlight the edge of my face and a little bit of my shoulder, I'm going to put the M20C slightly behind where I'm standing and angle it downwards to create that rim light effect. I'm in RGB mode and I've set red to 100%, green at 0, and blues at 100%, which is creating this pinkish hue, and I've also set the intensity to 60% brightness. You can see how the rim light hits just the edge of my face and a little bit of my shoulder, which is what creates a bit of separation from the background and myself. It also gives a little bit more of a unique or dynamic look to my face, and I think overall setup looks a little more interesting. I actually think this works really well, and I think it looks cool. I just wish I had another M20C so that I could have both the rim light and a fill or background light on at the exact same time. I think that would create even more depth and probably provide a bit more of a cinematic look across the board. But overall, the M20C works as a great option when you're looking to create a rim light effect, and I think it could work in a portrait setting or when you're making a cinematic video. So either way, I think you're good to go. Okay, so let's take a look at a side-by-side comparison of each of the three lighting setups. So the first one being the M20C is the key light. And if you look at this compared to the other two, you'll notice this one is a little bit brighter, the shadows are a little bit darker and more intense, and the light's not as soft as the Amaran 100D. Even though I use the diffusion filter. Now, if we look at our second setup with the M20C as the background light, we can easily see how big of a difference it makes compared to the other two setups. The background is lit up, it's fairly even, and it's a nice tone that can definitely create the separation between myself and the background. Now, the third setup is our rim light, with the M20C delivering an amazing look and feel that's completely different than our first two looks. Honestly, I'm just blown away by the power and versatility of this little light. So if you want to add the M20C to your lighting setup, it's currently available online for $119 as the light only, or if you want the full combo with all the accessories, it's listed for $149. Once again, big thanks to Zhiyun for letting me test out the brand new Fiveray M20C RGB pocket light. Now, this is my first review video, so if you've got some time, I would love some feedback in the comment section below. Until next time, peace.